Hey everyone, GeForce41 here with my first in a series of design tips for you. I'm going to call it casual coaching. Why not? Go with the theme, right? Why I'm doing this is, in both reviewing courses for the casuals and being a judge and reviewing and doing some videos for the TGC Tours Rookie Design Contest, I tend to see the same mistakes over and over by newer designers and rookie designers. And I wanted to just help out with a topic I think is pretty simple, but is often overlooked and missed, and that is green contouring, simple green contouring. And really, what we're going to talk about is, when you're designing a green, there's two concepts to keep in mind. There's the approach play, and then there's the internal contours of the green in terms of putting. I'm really talking about the general slopes of the green. I'm not going to get into like the strategy and all that stuff and all the contours internally on the green. It's the overall slope of the green and the direction of the green that I'm concerned about and where I see the same mistakes over and over again. And it'll make more sense as we get into the video. But where are we is the question. Well, we're at Sleepy Hollow Country Club. This is a LiDAR. And I chose this because, as you can see, we're on the first tee here. We're off on a hill. The clubhouse is up on the top of a hill. We're teeing off down the hill. And over there on the left is a river. In real life, that's the Hudson River. So you've got a big hill and a big body of water. And this is going to help demonstrate the basic concept I'm going to try to get through today. And that is the basic slopes of the green have to make sense in the direction they're moving. In this case, we're going to talk about the green, the first green, and it's going to be moving down the hill towards the water. It's on the side of the hill. So when a good designer is picking a green site, they need to keep in mind the topography and the land, and they want to pick a site that's going to be interesting. And what I'm trying to get across to you today is to make your green sites and your slopes of your greens look natural, okay? And to flow with the proper contours of the terrain that you've chosen as a green site. The second concept I want to get through is basic drainage. The basic slope of the green should allow for water to drain, especially in these old courses. This is why we're here at Sleepy Hollow. This was designed in 1912, I believe, by C.B. McDonald, with Seth Rayner as his engineer. And we're going to take a look at this course. We're going to go to Fisher's Island quickly. And we might even, if we have time, go to a Donald Ross course and take a look at the slopes there. But back in the day, they didn't have the modern drainage systems that we have now. So they had to design these holes to drain naturally. Okay, so a good designer is picking a green site that's going to fit in with the landscape and not work against it. And I see this mistake over and over. I see the greens going the wrong direction. I see greens that don't drain. I've seen a bunch of puddle greens, I call them, and we'll take a look at one of those. But that's really the concept today: is make your greens look natural, flow natural with the landscape, and make sure they're draining at least one, if not more, points. So just think about it. Most greens have more than one drainage point. They have at least 2, 3 drainage points. It could be in the back. It could be on the side. But we're going to look at different types of greens using this course, because I know this course well as a LiDAR, because I've used it as inspiration. I'm thinking of designing an inspired by course based on this course. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. And so I've played this course a number of times. And I think it's an excellent course to demonstrate these concepts. So I'm going to tee off here, and let's get right to it. Let me try that again. So here I am on the fairway. I've hit a good tee shot, and I'm down on the fairway. And what we talked about is the natural topography in the land. So you've got a big hill. This is basically going along the side of the hill, and there's a big body of water to the left. So where is water going to drain? Water is going to seek its level and go that way. So where is this green moving? Let's take a closer look. You can see the beads. It's gently moving down to the side, okay? If we look from this side, is it pitched back to front? Yeah, it's pitched back to front, but guess what you see in the back? Let's take a closer look at the back. Falls off to the back a little. That's very common in older greens, golden age greens, older courses that I play, which is why a lot of my courses feature that kind of green. And I've gotten a little bit of negative feedback about that over the years. And my response to that is, well, that's the way greens are. So, so do you want a severe slope back there? No, you want it to fit the natural landscape of the land. But greens, especially older greens, do have a little bit of a fall off in the back sometimes, especially the Donald Rosses that I play. But here, this is a simple opening hole. It's a simple, gentle slope. It fits right in with the terrain. It goes down to the water just a little bit. There's a few internal contours, and you can see here it's going to drain off to the side. It's going to drain off to the front. Okay, you can see the beads, sorry, are moving from the back to the front. It's hard for me to move this arrow, but I'll add a graphic. And that's it. It's very simple. That's the whole point of featuring this one first. Okay? And you can see it falls off to the side there. There's no magic about it, but it's a nice simple opening and a simple green to introduce the concept I'm trying to get across to you today. Make sure the greens are naturally situated and moving in the direction you would expect them to, due to these crazy things called forces of nature and gravity. This concept is missed a lot. But all right, so that's a basic start. Let's go off to the fifth hole. It's a little bit more interesting. Okay, here we are on the fifth hole. We're here for a reason. You can see here, it's the high point of the course, literally and almost figuratively. It is literally the high point of the golf course. It might not be the high point of the whole thing. I think the clubhouse might be a little higher. But the point is, the clubhouse would be behind the trees there. And there you see the rest of the course. We started off on that first hole, which is on the side of the hill with the water on the left, and we wrapped around the backside. And we're heading back kind of towards that same area. That's the second green off in the distance. And then you see the famous thumbprint green there right directly behind the fifth. And off here is to the right is the 15th, which we'll talk about and we'll visit shortly. But I want you to notice the difference in this green. Well, what did I say in the first hole? I said the green should fit in with the natural landscape. And on that first hole, it was on the side of the hill going down to the water. And it went left to right gently. Well, this is at the top of the hill, so what's this going to do? Is it going to move to the water? Well, no, because it's at the top of the hill. It's as you expect. It's actually a little bit of a plateau, okay? So that's a little different, right? So, again, the architect, who is a very famous one and a great one, put a green at the very peak of the course. It's scenic. It's unbelievable, I guess, in real life. If you've ever watched any videos, check them out on YouTube, the vlogs everybody raves about the view from the fifth hole. But what does the green do? It's basically flattish on the top, and it falls off to all sides, okay? It falls off to the right. Does it drain like I was talking about? Yeah, this is going to drain off to the right. As you can see here, the beads are moving off to the right. It's going to drain down to the center. It's going to drain off to the sides. And then what did I say about the back? You're going to see a lot of holes in these older courses that fall off to the back, okay? And that makes sense because peak of a hill, right? So it's at the very high point. It's got a little bit of a plateau, but it still is gently sloped to one side, to the right predominantly. It's going to go down there. And we're going to take a look at that beautiful punch bowl in a few minutes. And it's as you would expect it, right? Given the basic concepts we just talked about. So now we've got two greens. One goes gently right to left. One's at the top of a hill and it's plateaued, but it still does fall off gently and a little bit more severely over here to the side, okay? So that's another type of green that kind of fits that same layout and mindset. Okay? All right. Let's go to another one. Okay, here we are on the seventh hole. Downhill par 3, as you can see, about 219 yards. It's kind of got a reverse Redan concept going on here. But the point I want to make here is take a look at the location. It's situated, again, on the side of a severe slope in hill, and what we're doing here is the designer's using those contours to make a very interesting green that moves basically in one direction pretty hard down to from left to right, okay? This green, there's not a ton of internal contours, there's a little bit, but really it's moving pretty hard down in one direction, okay? So this is in contrast to that first green, which is very subtly moving in one direction. And this one, again, it's using the natural terrain and this hill and the fact that it's at the base of the hill to make a very interesting approach into this green with a more severe slope. Just a note for you designers that are new, this is a LiDAR course, so that is pretty severe. I don't recommend making your greens this severe, but it's pretty fun to play these just for fun as a LiDAR, okay? So again, this is, you know, the real topography. It looks pretty harsh on the game, but I think it's fun stuff. So I'm going to hopefully hit a good shot and show you how this kind of works. And I'm going to catch that hill, hopefully just right. There we go. How's that going to work out? Is it going to keep going? A little bit more. That would have gotten really close. But you can see how these are cool and fun holes. And, you know, you don't need to overdo it with the internal contours to make a fun and interesting hole. You don't always need tiers, things like that, to make it fun and interesting. So again, we've seen, you know, within this first 8 holes, we've seen three very different types of greens. Okay? See if I can drain this one. Oh, just missed. Okay, here we are on the 15th. So we mentioned this hole when we're off on the 5th. So just to get your perspective down, let's take a look where we are. This is the punch bowl green. You can see the thumbprint green in the distance. And then here's that 5th green that we visited, okay? That was kind of the plateau at the high point of the course. And I pointed out that we'd be taking a trip over to the 15th hole to show you a punch bowl. The reason I'm doing this is you say, well, Gary, you're talking about greens, they have to drain. What about a punch bowl? Well, they do. As a matter of fact, in the old days, their punch bowls were in fashion because they actually did retain the water in the very old days. But now, you know, playing the greens that we like to play them, they do have to drain. So they became a problem over the years due to drainage, and they were out of vogue for a long time. Now we're getting back into it a little bit, so I hope you'll be able to see some more punch bowls. But you do see them on some of the older courses. We're going to take a trip to Fisher's Island after this as well. But this is a classic punch bowl. As you can see, you fit a punch bowl in a little valley here in between a little set of hills. And it's a really fun green to play, to approach. A lot of the characteristics are similar. It's usually some sort of blind approach, which you see here. And then you have an approach down to this really fun green that funnels everything in a punch bowl shape. But you see the characteristic kind of hill in the back. Okay, but then you say, well, how's this drain? Well, let's take a look. Goes down here, down here, down here, okay, down here, and then out there. Okay, and then down. So again, something like this can add variety to your course. Is that going to be close? Is that going to be close? Oh, a little long. But here on the next hole, the famous thumbprint green, also known as short. That's the name of the hole. It's a short template for all you architect aficionados out there. But I brought you here for another reason. This is another very unique green. Okay? Take a look at this one. Well, it's a thumbprint. So you're going to say, well, the thumbprint's not going to drain. That's going to be what you call a puddle green, right, Gary? Well, no. Take a look at it. If you look closely, well, if you look from a distance, it looks like somebody stuck their thumb in there, right? And depressed the area where that hole is, where the flag is. If you look more closely, guess what? It's 140 yards, 30 feet down. If we go off to the side, the thumbprint is actually elevated, okay? That goes up a little, and then you go down. It's 32 feet down, okay? So this section is actually a little bit higher than the edges of the green. And if you look at, and I checked in real life, I looked at a whole bunch of pictures. You can see it, it's subtle. But look at this angle. That middle is actually elevated. So when you look at it this way, oh, it looks like a thumbprint. When you go down there, it's not. It's going to drain here. There's an opening, which is clear to see. So that would be where the water can drain, and then everything could feed down here. And then what happens? The whole rest of the green goes off to the side, right? Look in the back. It goes off to the side. Goes off to the right side. Goes down in here. So there's various drainage points all over this green. We're going to look at the back. It falls off to the back. So, whoops, let me go the other direction. I can't get it going the way I want. So take a look at that, okay? So there's another very unique green that follows the same concept. It's on a flat piece of land, a plateau. Yes, the water's off there in the distance, but the architects picked a point in the course where they could put kind of a platform green. And look, it does actually, if you look at it on the left side, move to the water a little on the back. All right. But all in, this is a pretty incredible design and a brilliant piece of architecture. So again, another really unique hole and another green that demonstrates these concepts in a different way. So, okay, where are we now? We're going to take a look at some Donald Ross holes. We are at Scioto Country Club, the home of Jack Nicklaus. This is where he learned to play golf, but this is a Donald Ross. This is a beautiful course. Just ported over to 2K23. Thank you, Mike. Loved this course on 21. Pretty setting. Great job with the light work. I was going to go to 2K21 and do this, but I just found it on 23. So here's the first green. A great example of what we're talking about. Beautiful entrance to the green. The green slopes down, right? And it slopes a little to the side, to the left there. But again, let's talk about the drainage points. Greens are going to drain in 2-3 points, I told you, right? In the first section of the video, you can see where water can drain in the front. The hole's going to go a little back to front. You can see where water could drain on the side over here. And then let's go to the back. You've got this little raised area, this mound in the back, where it falls off this way, and then this way, and even a little bit this way. Okay? So you can see how this is nicely pitched. It's coming kind of down this way. And there's a couple of points where water might drain off of this naturally. Okay? Simple concept, simple, pretty green, first hole on a Donald Ross course. All right? All right. Let's move to another one. Okay, this is the fourth hole, par 3. Plays about 200 yards. You'd expect a nice big green. You're not going to get it. You've got a teardrop green. You've got a pond behind and off to the right. And this green is perched up on a hill. Okay? So where would you expect it to go? A little bit towards that water, right? So very subtly, it's going off to the right. And it's falling off on all sides on the right side. And it's severely falling off on the front there. Okay, so this one is naturally perched on this little hill. And as you would imagine, this land is basically moving from left to right. Because you kind of got the hills off to the left. And you've got a low point in the water off on the right. You can see the water over there. There's a river and a pond. Okay, and that's the 8th hole, which we'll take a look at shortly. That's a super cool hole. And there you have it. So here it is. Let's see if I can do anything interesting with this shot. And it's going to trickle just off. Okay, here we are on the 8th hole. Like I said on the previous hole, I think it was 2, we were going to take a look at this one. This is the 8th hole. I think it's a par 5 in real life for the members, but it's a 4 here. As you can see, here's the pond that we were looking at earlier. Okay, here's the pond, and there's the stream. Okay, we're off on the other side, on the right side here. Okay, so look at the natural topography. You've got the clubhouse off on the right, up a hill. It's not a huge hill, it's a hill nonetheless, and the land flows down into the water, into the low point. Okay, so which way would you expect this green to go? It's going to go a little bit to the water, you'd expect, right? You're not going to have it going away from the water. That wouldn't make any sense at all. Let's take a look. What does it do? There you go. See those beads? It's going very gently to the water. Okay. It's got a little bit of a valley in the middle, but that drains down here. And look, it drains off to the side down into the pond, right? I mean, that's where you expect it to go. The water's going to drain off on all sides and go down into the water there. Okay. And yeah, it's perched on a little bit of a hill, so you got a little bit of a hill here in a collection area. That's a very Nicklaus kind of feature in his courses. So, you know, Jack Nicklaus grew up on this course, so that's not a surprise. A lot of his designs feature something like that. I play a few of those in this neighborhood, so to speak. And again, it's a simple little design. There's nothing special about the screen. It's not dramatic, but it's interesting and playable, and makes for this is a really cool hole. All right. All right, let's take a look at one or two more here. Okay, here we're on 14. I love this hole. Par 3, long 3, 230, 40 yards. Uphill just a little bit. Now look at how simple this green is, okay? So just for those of you out there who think you have to put 2 tiers in or 3 tiers in, you don't always need that. Especially on a hole this long, you wouldn't want that. But look at how simple and elegant this green is, okay? It's perched at the top of a hill. It's a beautiful tee shot. The lane is great here by the designer, by the way. And look where now, as far as the drainage, it's draining in the front, it's draining to the side, but just look how it sets naturally on that hillside, okay? And it's not doing too much, but with a hole this length, you don't need it to do that much. But look how elegant and natural that is, okay? It's not severely contoured. It's gentle slopes. There's a tint of red at the top left there and a tint of red in the beginning, but that's a pretty location. That's a pretty hole, and that's just how you really want your holes to look. Like they fit in naturally, like they've always been there. Okay? I'm going to hit one, see how close I can get it. That might be good. That's a little right. And a little long. Great hole, though. All right. Pushed one right again. Here I am in the bunker, but let's take a look at the 18th green. Off to the right is the clubhouse, up on the hill as we talked about. And remember, the water is down there off on the left, okay? So where do you think this green's going? It's moving off to the right. Sorry, moving off to the left from the right. And as you can see here, it's kind of got a little valley in the middle and water drain right down kind of in the front there. All right, so it's a pretty finishing hole. It's kind of a heart-shaped green, another unique shaped green. We've seen all sorts of different shapes, sizes, and contours today. So I hope you follow the basic concept, and I hope the variety of greens I showed you helps demonstrate those basic concepts can be applied in many different ways. Okay? So again, the simple goal here is just to make your greens look natural, make sure they flow in the appropriate direction, that they flow in the way that you would expect from the natural topography of the land, and that they drain appropriately. Okay, if you do that, you're going to have the basis of an interesting, fun, and playable green. Okay, and then you have to think about the rest of the contours of the green and the strategy and the mechanics of all that. But if you don't have those basic concepts down, your green's going to not look very good. It's not going to play realistic. And it's not going to work. It's going to look very amateurish. And so I do see that in a lot of the beginner courses. And hopefully by watching this video, that will help you think through these simple things and guide your design and make your designs better and more interesting and better looking. Okay? Hope this helps. I'll be back with more. If there's anything you need or have questions or if there's a topic you want me to address, just shoot me a comment. And, hopefully I'll get to it. So again, thanks for joining. Like and subscribe. I'll be back with more casual previews. I'll be doing more rookie design reviews as well. I will see you soon. Have a great day.